So it's File, and you get to Photoshop, File, New, and you're doing a web one, and you're doing 2048 by 520 pixels, and create. Now if you've got your assets organized into a folder, you should be able to just place your file. So I've got a background PNG, which I've called background PNG. I'm just going to put it in there. So I'm happy with it, and you'll notice it's on a layer. It's just sitting there, and I'm going to lock that layer because I don't want that to animate. I don't actually want that layer moving. You could, but we don't want that. Okay, so then bring in your SVGs. So again, place them. So I've got a folder called SVG Assets, which has all the bits and pieces that I want to animate. Now what I suggest you do is organize them to be the end point of your animation, so that this is where you think it's going to end up. And you'll notice that the SVG, when you scale it, see how it's not losing quality? That's the advantage of the SVG over a JPEG or a PNG. Okay, it's very good for vector. So arrange everything you want to animate, bring it all in. Make sure you've got your tagline, anything you want to work with. So dots or anything. So I've got a dot here, I think, or a couple of dots. Actually, I don't want to animate that. I just want the dots. And maybe I've got the word. Let's just have a look. What have I got? I've got a J, which I could place and scale things up. And because they're SVGs, that's the whole thing. You'll be able to scale them up quite nicely. So what I'm doing is thinking about where do I want everything to end up at the end of this, getting things in position. So if it only animates in once, what else do I want? I think that's a dot. Yeah, so I want the dot. You can just drag them in too, by the way. They're going, just dragging. So I want to really scale my dot up a bit. And I want to put them sort of something like that. So they're going to arrange themselves at the end of the animation. They're going to end up like this. So something like that. And then the tagline, make sure you've got a tagline. I think I've got a tagline somewhere here. Might be that, I don't know, it might be that, maybe I don't have a tagline, but you should use your tagline. So it slides on at some point. So let's say I'm planning for things to come from nowhere all the way sliding in and ending up in the position here. So maybe that's what I'm going to do. So think about organising them like this. And then we're ready to start. So what we've got is everything we need on different layers. And now if you have something like a dotted line you want to animate in, you will find you would have to create separate layers for each version of that. So for your first go, don't do anything complicated, just do something simple like this. And then you need to hit the little button down here that says Create Frame Animation. And so everything I'm planning to animate is, all those layers are turned on. Now you can animate and change each frame by turning layers on and off. We're not going to need to do that, but you might find that's something you want to do if you want something to appear, disappear. So once you've got everything organised like that, then you're going to come down to the little plus symbol that plus symbol just duplicates the selected frame, which is the last one. So it's going to have exactly the same things on it, but be aware which frame you're working on. And this is why you don't want to duplicate all the same frames, because nothing will have changed. So as we go along, we're going to change things. So I'm going to start pulling things apart so that they'll appear like they're sliding on into position. So for each frame, something's got to change. You can hold down the shift key to keep things sliding. And then the important thing is that you duplicate that last frame, right? That's the one you want to duplicate. You don't want them all the same as the first one, right? So as you go along, you're duplicating it and then making another change, sliding that further. My dot's going to slide over. This is going to slide up. And you can use the shift key to sort of keep things aligned. Oops, don't know what I did there. Did something funny. And then, go and duplicate the next frame. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. So hit the little plus sign. So you're duplicating the next frame. It should be the same. And do another change. So everything's changing as you slide along. And if you find it, if you want to do very small changes, you could use your arrow keys on the keyboard. But every time I duplicate the frame, I've done something to it, I've changed it. So with your first go at it, just do a very simple one till you get the hang of it. You can always add complexity once you get the hang of it. So I'm just gradually moving things away. Yeah, those have gone. So my next frame, I'm just going to copy that frame again. I'll have to move this up. It's getting caught up down there. Where's it doing that? Yep, so that's the same, and all I'm doing is sliding that off now. So I'm just going to slide it off till there's really nothing much showing on this, and I'll disappear these off completely. Right, so my last frame's sort of got nothing on it. Now if I look at that, if I play that through, I get a sense of what's happening, but what I actually want to do is reverse them. So if I select all of them, so just hold down your shift key and select all the frames, then across in that little hamburger, you've got to reverse frames. And that will then mean that you start off with an empty thing and they come on. Okay, now it's obviously a bit fast, isn't it? So it's change the timing of it, so you can, if you select them all, you can change the timing of them all at once. You've got a little drop down there with a little 1 second or no seconds. So that'll slow it down a little bit. And the other thing, it's on forever down there. So if I just want it to come in and stop, I'll just put it on, it's playing once. So now when I play it, it just animates on. So it's just playing once. So I've done something wrong on my last one. I haven't quite got that where it should have been. So I'd have to fiddle with, oops, something's happened. Yeah, went back. So I'd have to fiddle with that a little bit to get the position right and so on. So there's a little bit of, fine tuning to get it right. But that's what I want. So instead of having to think about sort of having everything off and then bringing it on, I've started with my end result and then reversed it because I find that easier and quicker. Now the last thing to do to really make it a bit smoother is again to select all the frames, and you'll see this little sort of funny symbol next to the plus, that's tweening. So if you click on that, must have something still connected. No. Sorry, I don't know why that's jammed, it's not letting me. So what we want to do is add the tweens in between. This little thing should add the tween. There it goes. So you should be able to select them all and add them all at once. Oh, okay, no, you can do it up here. You can tween frames to add. So basically, I'm saying I want to add 3 frames between this frame and the next one, and that will smooth the movement quite a bit. So you can just go along and do that, add some tweens where you want it. You should be able to select them all and just tween them all at once. I don't know why that wasn't working, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. I thought you could, never mind. So, but anyway, you just select the frames that you want to tween. So it'll put tweens, it'll duplicate frames with very gradual movements, and I'm just adding 2 or 3, you know, just to make it smoother. And then play it from the beginning and see what it looks like. So it's a lot smoother with the tweening. So you'll need to play around with that. And then when you've finished, the last step is to export it as an animated GIF. You're going to export that. Again, go to save, so file export, save for web, gives you the correct settings. This time you just pick GIF, and you can see it's the right size and everything, and it knows that it's an animation. It's coming up as animation, and it's picked up the setting once, but I could change it even there. I could say forever and have it looping. So you can do a preview to see how it's going, and it previews it in the browser. So check it's working how you want it to. And then when you've finished with that GIF file, it should be, figure out where you're saving it to. So I'll just check where I'm saving it to. Actually, I don't know where I'm saving it to, but anyway, once you save it, I'll call it test animation 1, and I'm saving it into documents, and I'm going to make sure I know where I'm putting it. Sorry, desktop. Well, it wasn't there. I'll just make a new folder and say test animation. That way the GIF file will go in there, and then that GIF you can put into an EPUB, you can drag it into a website, you can put it in an email. They're incredibly flexible, they play straight away. So have a go. I'm going to stop recording now, and I'll email you all this recording. Hopefully it's got sound.